So on tonight's homework, students are working on combining mixed numbers with fractions. When they do that and they get an equivalent fraction to 1 whole or greater, they're going to want to exchange to make 1 whole. So on A, B, and C, just A and B, they're going to just add the fractional parts. So they're going to look at 4 and add 1/4 and 1/4. We're going to look at 5 and 1/4 and add 2/4, and they're going to get a mixed number, the 4 and the 5 and. When they get to C, they're going to get a fraction equivalent to 1 whole. In this case, 2/6 plus 2/6 plus 4/6 equals 6/6. So what your student is going to do is they're going to exchange that in for 1 whole. So then they have 3 and 6/6, or 3 plus 1 whole for 4 whole. Same thing will happen in D. For part 2, problem 2, what they're going to want to do is thinking about how to get to the next whole number. So the way to think about this is you're thinking about how do you get from 3 to 4? Well, we need to add 1. So what that means is we need 5, 6 plus some number to equal 1, because that's what we have to add to the 3 whole. So have students think about 5, 6 plus what gets them to 1 whole. They'll probably also have to think about what is the equivalent 1 whole if our denominator is 6. So in this case, they want to figure out how do you get from 5, 6 to 6, 6? What number of 6 would you add? That's going to complete that one. In this one, they're going to do 3 7s plus what number of 7s gets you to 1 whole. Here, they're going to think about 1/8 plus some number of 8s gets you to 1 whole. 4 12ths plus some number of 12ths gets you to 1 whole. So looking back at that first example in A should help students solve that. For part 2, what students are thinking about here is breaking up the second fraction into its equal parts to combine to make 1 whole. So for instance, here you see they thought about what was needed to be added to 4/5. Well, to make 1 whole, they need 1/5 more. That's going to bring them up to 3 whole, and then they have the remaining 1/5 to get to 3 and 1/5. So students should think about 3 and 2/3. What do I need to add here to get to the next whole? Well, I'm going to take 1/3 because that's going to bring me to 4 whole. And then I should have 1/3 left. I'm going to add 1/3, and that's going to bring me to 4 and 1/3. So in this case, 4 and 4 6. What do I need to add to it to get it to 5? So how many 6 get me there? That's going to come down from that. The remaining part will be added to 5 whole. So think about what number of 6 added to 4 will get you up to 6 6 from 5 6. And then on the back, what students are going to do is they can use one of the strategies that we learned today. They can either combine, like they just did on the last problem, to make 1 more. So thinking in this case, 2 and 3/5, what do I need to add to it to make it up to 3? How many fifths? Taking that from here and then adding in the number over here. Or the other strategy we used is to say 2 whole plus 3/5 plus 3/5. Students get 2 and 6/5. Then from 6/5, they're going to use the number bond to take out a whole, which would be 5/5 in this case. It's the same as 1 whole. And what remains? So 6/5 subtract 5/5 leaves the student with 1/5. So here we'd say 2 and 6/5 is the same as 2 plus 1 whole. I'm getting that from here, plus 1/5. Students can use either method that's easiest for them. So like I said, they can either say 3 and 6/8, what gets me up to 4 whole? Part of it from 4/8, the other part is added to the 4 whole. Or combining 6/8 and 4/8 and getting 3 and 10/8, and then doing the number bond to take out 1 whole. 8/8, 2/8 must remain because those two numbers must add up to equal 10. So now they have 3 whole plus the 1, which was the 8/8 plus 2/8. Students should be able to finish this through H using any of those strategies, either adding up to the next whole or combining the fractions and then decomposing. For problem 5, it says to solve 4 and 8 tenths plus 3 tenths, Carmen thought 4 and 8 tenths plus 2 tenths equals 5, and 5 plus 1 tenth equals 5 and 1 tenth. Benny thought 4 and 8 tenths plus 3 tenths equals 4 and 11 tenths. 4 plus 10 tenths plus 1 tenth equals 5 tenths. Explain why they're both right. So if you go back and watch the part I just showed you, that should be able to help you solve that question.